NEMAA is a membership artist organization, and it really came out of the creation of Art-A-Whirl 22 years ago. I think NEMAA is just about 20 years old now. And the purpose of NEMAA is really to support a diverse community of art in Northeast Minneapolis. So it works to focus on the economic vitality of the arts community here, both supporting the artists that live and work in Northeast, as well as bringing new people to Northeast to support those artists. So, of course, the thing NEMAA is most known for is Art-A-Whirl. We just had our 22nd annual Art-A-Whirl this past May. And Art-A-Whirl just happens to be the largest open studio show in the country. So we're very proud of that. And it also makes us the #1 arts district in the nation, according to USA Today. And you know, Art-A-Whirl is an open studio show, like I said. We have, NEMAA itself has 900 plus members. We typically have 750 artists participating in Art-A-Whirl. And I know that many of our members are members of NEMAA so that they can participate in Art-A-Whirl, because what Art-A-Whirl does is bring over 30,000 people to Northeast Minneapolis, to these studio buildings, to both really appreciate the art, the artistic process, and to purchase art, which I know is very important to our members. But what it really is about is a celebration of our creative community and creativity.
Art basically means to me, it's a freedom of expression. It's basically poetry in motion, and it's just like getting out all of those residual like thoughts that are on your mind and in your heart, and just expressing them to people and translating them in your own unique way. And that is what art means to me.
Art is everything to me. Art is the reason that human beings are tolerated on this planet. Despite the wars, despite all the stupid things we do, the fact that we do art, and we do music, and we dance, and we create culture, that's the reason human beings exist.
I am a studio jeweler, metalsmith, and a metalsmith teacher. And my studio space is in the Northeast Minneapolis Casket Arts building. And I've been working out of that space for about 4 years now. Got a stipend through NEMAA to do a project for Art-A-Whirl, and Art-A-Whirl is just a fantastic opportunity to get a lot of people through my studio doors and to show them what I work on a day-to-day basis. The project that I chose to do is working with one of my favorite tools known as the hydraulic press, and it also kind of is hooked into people's love for the state of Minnesota and for the area. So they got to take the state of Minnesota and emboss it into a piece of metal. And then they could actually stamp on there what their favorite place in Minnesota was. Yeah, so it was fantastic. And it was great that NEMAA has funds available to, they paid for the materials and some of the tooling involved as well, which I wouldn't have been able to do it without that. So that was fantastic. I think especially having grown up in Chicago and then came to Minneapolis, I was really astounded by how important the arts are in everybody's day-to-day lives. But I think Art-A-Whirl really serves as a very special time of the year when the entire area has just exploded with music and visual arts and performance art and food, and it's really just a fantastic celebration of the arts in total.
We wanted to create a space for those artists to also participate in Art-A-Whirl. So in the Northrup King building, in the third floor gallery space, we offered what we like to call art in motion. And over the course of the 3 days, we had 25 artists participate, sort of demonstrating their art form. Again, we did have some artists that were painting, and the cool thing about art in motion is that you could see the process of creation. It was really about the creative process. If you think of Art-A-Whirl itself as us asking our artist members to turn their studio spaces into galleries, what we did with Art in Motion was take a gallery space and turn it into a studio space.
It's expressing. It's expressing yourself or an idea or a feeling, whether that's with words or music or paint or clay or, whatever it happens to be. Sometimes I feel like I need to create something to make me feel alive. And I like to get ideas by going to Art-A-Whirl, seeing this stuff,
My name is Maggie. I like art because you can be creative with it. You can draw, paint, whatever you feel like. And at the event tonight, I like that they're singing. That's kind of art. There's lots of pictures about places, landscapes. And there's also food samples in the back, so I like that. And one of the things I also love about this place is that you can do different things. You can be creative at the karaoke. You can look at the pictures. You can try different foods, and lots of things.
Art to me means expressing yourself through any type of form that's not words, that you feel like you can express to people themselves. And so finding that outlet and being able to shout to the world through art what you're feeling in life. I'm actually an artist myself, and I do a lot of abstract art and nature landscapes. And for me, nature brings me peace, and that's where I can really find my time to come back to myself and get away from the busyness of the world. So I use art as a calming mechanism and just a way to kind of bring peace back to my life. So
art means that it's kind of like a thing, like for painting, and it's fun, and I can also make a diorama, but you also have to make it out of paper, and it has to be a square. Paintings.
I want to talk about myself a little bit before I paint the next painting. I started painting about 4 years ago, and I moved here in the United States. As you guys can tell, I'm not from here, right? Right? I moved here about 7 years ago from Burundi, East Africa, right? And when I moved here, I realized that everything was different. The culture, traditions, literally everything. Because we left our families, we came here for better life, better education for us, me and my siblings. And so that way, prosper in life, right? But I got here and I realized that things are not the same no more, right? I didn't know English at all. I spoke French, spoke 3 languages, but English wasn't one of them, right? So, got here and I always found myself in the outside, not, in line, but I was always like to do is, in the back, right? So, given that I couldn't even speak English, that made it even worse, right? So, I had to find a way to actually speak much, because I believe that everybody has something to contribute to society, right? So I had to find a way to contribute my truth, to say my truth, to literally not only just speak, but also kind of bridge these gaps that we have, the outside as, and the inside as and all of that. So I found art about 4 years ago, and I started kind of like practicing it, trying it. And the coolest thing is I took an art class and I learned painting that 1 year. And literally that same year, actually in a month after that, after I started that class, my painting was on the billboard. That was literally my first time. And I realized that, in that moment that it can kind of be my thing, right? So I started doing it more and more and more. And I trying to find a way to actually speak through art and speak through, art performances and not just paint like everybody else usually does. But so what I do here, I always try to find a way to actually speak to it. So the next painting, it's literally all about freedom. We didn't practice this, so we're just gonna do everything that we're gonna do. And like you guys realize right here, the painting, the canvas, it's not, it's not clean, right? Yeah? Yes? Okay, cool. And the reason that is because when I started, well, even till now, I didn't have money to actually practice on my canvas, have a clean canvas to actually perform on, right? So I had to practice the same canvas and go on and perform on that same canvas. So even till now, I might have 1, 2, 3 more canvases. I still do it because to me, that's freedom, all right? So, going to perform in the river right here.
I'm a polymer clay artist. I work with a clay that bakes in a regular oven. It's kind of like a high-tech Play-Doh. So it's all these colors of clay that you just can roll and squish and layer up, and you just bake it for 30 minutes in a regular oven. So the technique that I do is called mille fiori, which means 1,000 flowers in Italian. And it's actually a technique that goes back to the Egyptian times, but the Venetian glass workers perfected it in like the 1900s. But it's also a technique you see in things like cookies and candy and candle wax. So it means you layer up colors, and then when you slice it on the end, you've got little tiny, tiny images of sometimes even like dogs and birds and flowers, all kinds of stuff. So whenever I show my work, people look at it and they see these little tiny images of dogs and hippos and faces, and they're like, how do you do that? You draw each one of those on there? And if I try to explain it without the actual visuals, they're just totally like, that makes no sense. So every time I show my work, I'm always trying to demonstrate. So at Art-A-Whirl, it's so awesome because I'm in my studio with everything right there, and I am building what is called a mille fiori cane. And I've got all the parts, sometimes half-built ones, and sometimes just the very beginnings, or just the colors all laid out, mixed up. And somebody that just walks right in, even though the process can take like 30 hours, they can still see like step by step what's happening. And then I can show them when they say, but how do you make that fur right there? And I can show them the technique I call fluffiness, and they can see the magic right before their eyes. NEMAA has been really helpful in things like, I've gone to a lot of their shoot, I can't remember the name. That I've done some of their education type things about like how to write a resume or how to build an artist statement that they did through Springboard for the Arts. And that was very useful. And just to have that community and all the artists knowing they're all out there has been really great.
again, it's just so much energy. This year they had musicians, dancers, theater actors participating during Art-A-Whirl in their space. And so that's the thing that I would lift up about Art-A-Whirl as well, is that yes, it is about visual arts, and that's where it started. But it's grown to really incorporate not just the visual artists, not just painters, sculptors, and filmmakers or things like that, but it really has grown to try to be more inclusive of dance, of theater, of music, bands, and even culinary artists can all participate in Art-A-Whirl. So again, it really is that celebration of a creative community and what I like to describe as Northeast being a Makerville.